ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
It's The Other Side of Midnight with Frank Morano.
Love and marriage, they go together like a horse and carriage. This I'll tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other. Love and marriage, it's an institute you can't disparage. Ask the local gentry, and they will say it's elementary. Try to separate them. It's an
That is the great
illusion.
Frank Sinatra singing about love and marriage. And there's nobody that I would rather discuss love and marriage with than Sarah Symonds. But honestly, there's nobody I would rather discuss anything with than Sarah Symonds, because not only does she have a lot of interesting things to say, but she's got the most delightful Welsh accent in the world. I could listen to her read the phone book, and I would be absolutely riveted. In fact, her next appearance, maybe we'll try that, just to have her read the phone book. If you're not familiar with Sarah Symonds, she's an author. She is a recovering other woman. I'll put it that way. She's been, involved in tabloids and things like that, or at least father for tabloids. And we use her as our resident expert on all things related to infidelity, which is now legal in the state of New York. Sarah Symonds, it is great to talk with you again. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Frank. You're going to have to stop bigging me up like this. People are going to think we're having an affair.
I trust me, Sarah. I don't think anybody thinks that I'm in your league. So believe me, I think your reputation is secure.
I love phoning in. I love being on your show just to hear you talk about me. It's as if you're talking about somebody else, but thank you.
So, Sarah, since this is Thanksgiving week, and I know you're in Great Britain now, and they're not celebrating Thanksgiving this week, but you've spent a lot of time in the United States. Mm-hmm. Serious question. Obviously, we have people listening to this show that are in various stages of relationships. Some are married, some are divorced, some are probably being a party to adultery. If you're a mistress around Thanksgiving, what's that like for you? Is that a lonely position to be in?
Not only lonely, Frank, it's absolutely crucifying, and the whole thing rots you to your very core. But because nobody cares about the mistress or the other woman, they don't really want to know about it. It's also a very lonely place because you can't really complain to anyone. Everyone will say, well, just don't be in the situation then. That's why I set up Mistresses Anonymous back in the day, because your Thanksgiving Day is a bit like our Christmas Day. The guy is with his family. Sometimes he can scoot out and see you as well, highly unlikely. And it's just a horrible place. So your life is sort of on hold. You don't want to hear about the parade and the gifts and the good times because you're just living in misery, probably drowning your sorrows.
Yeah, no, I you're so right in that. Obviously, we all make choices, right? And some of those choices are good, some of those are not so good. But, the folks that society decides to write off, the other woman or the other man for that matter, well, but I think it's particularly true with women, we almost act as if these people don't count. Their feelings, their emotions, their psyche doesn't matter. And I think that it's important to keep in mind that they do.
That's a good point. And, in life, in most things, there's two sides to every story. But in an affair, there's three. And sometimes you don't always know the guy is married. or sometimes he'll tell you he's separated. We could do a whole show on this. I'm not going to go into it all, but, don't always judge the other person because there are lots of facets to the story.
Yeah, no, well said, well said. All right. Sarah Symonds is my guest. Sarah, so much to get to with you. First, I guess people should know better than to doubt your powers of prediction in the future. Last time you were here, we were talking about the controversy involving Congressman Matt Gaetz, and you had pretty much predicted, because of what was out there with respect to the scandal and him potentially sleeping with a 17-year-old and other things, that he was not going to be confirmed. He has withdrawn from consideration as Attorney General. You were right on this one, Sarah.
Thank you, Frank. I think he had to withdraw. He just had to. He didn't want to. I would imagine his huge ego is dented. God knows what's going to come out. This is just the tip of the iceberg, I would imagine. He has a look of, how can I say it? A darkness about him. That's all I'll say. It's a strange, I don't know, it's just something about his eyes. So I think we're going to have lots of illuminating stories.
At 30 minutes after the hour, this is The Other Side of Midnight. My guest is Sarah Symonds. Sarah, in terms of what we see Matt Gaetz doing now, he is doing the same thing George Santos did, which is he's joining Cameo. So you could hire him for, I don't know what, maybe a few $100s, and he'll record a video greeting for a friend or a coworker or whatever the case may be. How do you think he's going to play on Cameo, Sarah? Do you think there's going to be a lot of demands for Matt Gaetz' birthday greetings?
God, all I can say, Frank, is how the mighty have fallen. That's the same to me as doing an OnlyFans page. He's selling himself. He has to make a living, but how pathetic, eh? It just highlights the whole debacle of all the mistakes he allegedly has made and the downfall it causes. It's the house of cards, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it certainly is. Although George Santos was able to turn that situation involving Cameo into a gold mine. He made more in a week on Cameo than he did in a year in Congress. I'll be curious to see if Matt Gaetz has the same success.
Again, doesn't that put things into perspective? Why are people going to university and working in jobs if they can earn more in a week doing a few voiceovers or topless pictures in women's cases?
Yeah.
The world's gone mad, Frank. Can we do a little tiny bit on Liam Payne?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about Liam Payne in a second. I do have to ask you about a story that I mentioned a little while ago, though, that in New York State, adultery is now officially legal. Now, it's not really that big of a deal because they weren't prosecuting many people for adultery. But I'm curious, Sarah, what do you think of this? In general, is adultery something that should be criminalized anywhere?
Oh, that's an on-the-spot question. How long is a piece of string? I always used to say in my interviews, it's not cheating if your partner knows about it. So what's her name, your New York governor?
Kathy Hochul.
Yes, she looked very happy when she was signing that. I thought she was very bright, cheery, and sort of relieved. She had a look of relief on her face. I found that the most bizarre thing of the article you sent me. It's almost farcical. It's not cheating if your partner knows about it. This is taking it to another level. It's almost saying, go for it. The gates are open.
So,
as in Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, that's very funny. So you think potentially maybe Kathy Hochul had a selfish reason for signing this bill into law?
I didn't say that, Frank. Don't put words into my mouth. There's enough there.
All right. It's good to know.
Let's watch this space.
You have
get
pretty
to positions of power without going up a few ladder rungs. That's all I'm saying.
You have pretty good instincts for this stuff, Sarah. I know better than to question you. So I'm reading between the lines in terms of what you're saying here. We're talking with Sarah Symonds. By the way, I'm going to take your calls in a bit at 646-720-0635. That's 646-720-0635. All right. You mentioned Liam Payne. Liam Payne is he was a musician. Unfortunately, he passed away. He's with this group, One Direction, died at a very young age, in his early 30s. I had no idea, Sarah, that you were such an aficionado of boy band culture.
Well, gosh, another string to my bow. I wouldn't call me an aficionado. However, I'm into it at the moment because I'm watching a 3-part documentary which is fascinating. Robbie Williams is sort of highlighting lots of things that go on behind the scenes. I'm more interested in people, Frank, you know me. And to me, the boy band thing, if I ever had a child, I would prefer the guy to be a plumber or a bank clerk, never go into the industry. The high price you pay for fame, everybody thinks they want it, but mostly it's their downfall.
And if you're just tuning in, I'm Frank Morano. This is The Other Side of Midnight. My guest is Sarah Symonds. And so what exactly happened with Liam Payne? What do we know about what occurred and his passing?
Well, a friend of mine actually works for the Mail on Sunday. She flew over there and did the story. She said there's a lot more to come out. I don't know, Frank, but all I can say is it's an incredibly lonely place if you're not in a good space to be in a hotel room in another country. It's a recipe for disaster, especially if you have addiction problems. It really is. And so I sometimes, with my background, having been the mistress in the hotel room in despair, I could tell you some stories. I find it very similar. Okay, it's a different topic, but like you said earlier, we're all people. Pain is pain, and going through emotions, however they've come to you, you're suffering. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely imagine. You know, Sarah, why do people, but especially women, obviously, because you could speak from a woman's perspective, why would a person be a mistress more than once? Obviously, you described kind of a sad situation and largely, whether it's the holidays or not, a sad existence. Knowing how painful that can be, why would someone do it multiple times?
That's a really great question. Again, we could do a whole episode on this. I think it becomes learned behavior. I think that you become very vulnerable to being vulnerable. And when I had my reality show, I always remember one woman said to me, she didn't know the guy was married until after she'd slept with him. That was nice. As soon as they slept together, he said, by the way, got to tell you something. She was devastated. But when he first met her, he said to her, you look like a woman who's been hurt. So he placed her in the vulnerable target. It was a form of flattery to her because she felt somebody was interested in her. And bingo, the affair starts. After an affair, you'll probably have another one. It's like a drug user. Okay, you might stop for a while, but you go back to what you know and like, even though you know it's damaging you.
Is the aspect of liking it, though, is it a level of excitement? Is it exhilaration? Is it a level of, being a sexual turn on? What is the good part about it?
For me, sometimes it was the celebrity angle. I won't lie to you. But the downside was very not worth it. But at the time, when you're in it and you're younger, you don't really realize you're too deep into it and you keep believing the things somebody's telling you. But sometimes you don't always want the commitment. I was never somebody who wanted a boyfriend around me all the time. Although looking back, I probably did want that, but I didn't allow myself to have it. It's such a fascinating area. If I had ever had a daughter, or anyone who's listening, I would say, please don't ever go down that path. It's just soul-destroying. It'll rot you to the core. And back to the boy band thing. You know, these kids are young. They hit fame, and then when it doesn't work, they don't know how to deal with it. Your emotions aren't developed enough. So you just go into that black abyss, into that pit.
Morning decisions. A creamy mocha frappuccino drink? A sweet vanilla? Maybe a smooth caramel? Or that white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Start your day with bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drinks. Pick up a bottle near you wherever you buy your groceries.
Clorox Sentiva smells like grapefruit. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like...
Okay, we could be here all day. Try Clorox Sentiva for a trusted clean with long-lasting freshness. Also available in lavender and coconut. Use as directed.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Experience a progressive lens engineered with AI from Essilor. Powered by individual measurements of your visual behavior. A lens personalized to you by an Essilor expert. Discover Verilux XR Track and enjoy instantly sharp vision in motion and seamless transitions from near to far. Find your local Essilor expert today at Essilor.com.
Would you discourage a parent from encouraging their children to go into show business at a young age?
Show business, yes. Sports and things, great, but show business, I would say, no good can come of it. And you have to ask yourself, Frank, sometimes the parents are doing it for themselves in the show business arena. If you read some of these, celebrity stories about how their mothers pushed them at age 9 to go to parties and they had drinks, and it's murky territory. But like I said earlier, everybody is seeking fame.
That is so true. So true, and it's gotten much more so in a social media era. And by the way, Sarah, speaking of fame seeking, if you're interested in getting Matt Gaetz to record a birthday greeting or a cameo for you, it will be about $350.
I'd rather cut my leg off and eat it, Frank.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that, but your point's well taken. All right. Conor McGregor is a big UFC star and a big mixed martial artist. And evidently, he was found liable in a rape and sexual assault trial in Ireland. He's now going to have to pay about, I think it's about $250,000, 250,000 euros, I think. Euros, yeah. And that this is making a lot of news internationally. What was your read on this case, Sarah? To the extent that you paid any attention to it, do you think the jury came up with the right verdict?
Right, we better be careful what we say, but it was a civil case, which means it was a lesser one, wasn't it? But still, she had the payout. Here's my thing, Frank. I'm sorry. I've been in many hotel rooms in my life. I'm not proud to say it. The girl went there at, I believe, 9 a.m. after some kind of flirty text on social media, I think. The article openly says she was fully loaded. She took drugs and drink and alcohol. And whatever happened, happened. What do you sometimes expect? You're going to the room of a martial arts guy. Do you think he's going to sit you down with a cup of tea and have flowers and chocolate?
Right, exactly. Well, I wonder the same thing with a lot of these women, and it's such a politically incorrect thing to say because you're supposed to.
Why is it so politically incorrect? Now, if I feel sorry to interrupt you, but I feel sorry for rape victims who are accosted, taken off the street, or domestic abuse going on behind closed doors. They are real victims. But this woman went to a hotel room, enjoyed the drinks, enjoyed the drugs, and then something happened, allegedly. Now, we weren't there. I always find it fascinating how they do prove it. And here's the kicker. I read that when she went home to her small child and her partner, she had her partner record what had happened to her. I'm sorry, that's messed up.
Yeah, well, it's messed up. Why? Because that's not something that you should have your romantic partner do?
It sounds to me a little premeditated. Back to the cheating thing. Would you be okay with your partner going to a martial arts guy's room at 9 a.m., coming back drunk?
Oh, certainly not.
Happened?
Certainly not.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It seems very murky, but I did laugh. I read that she is so glad she had the victory because she doesn't want her small daughter to think she can't speak out. Nothing about her small daughter worrying about mummy taking drugs and drink.
Yeah, it's so it sounds like maybe if you were on the jury, you would have voted maybe a bit differently. Yeah,
I think so. But again, you don't know what jurors have been through. Listen, if he hadn't been a celebrity, would we even be talking about this? People are raped and abused and battered, sadly, every day, and they're not getting justice. So it does irk me. I definitely think the name, was part of it.
I am sure. Now, Sarah, being in the UK, people may hear your delightful accent and assume that because you're in the UK, you are a big tea drinker. You, though, when we were emailing a little while ago, said that you were going to have a cup of coffee. What's the story? Are you a traitor to your people by having coffee instead of tea in the morning?
Oh, my God, you're funny. First of all, I don't care about people. I want my coffee. And I have it with oat milk.
Oh.
And I just have instant, none of this posh George Clooney stuff. Instant coffee. I'm an instant girl.
Okay. Well, I hope it's... well, how common is coffee consumption in Great Britain?
Oh, it's huge. Everywhere you go now, we've got a drive-through Starbucks in our town, which is the big deal for us.
But tea is still the dominant hot beverage, right?
It's thought to be, but it depends on your personal preference. But yeah, tea is associated with the UK, but I'm a coffee girl.
Well, good for you. Whatever gets you that necessary kick to get you through the morning, especially this early. Sarah, it is always a hey. Well, actually, Sarah, David in the Bronx wants to take issue with your characterization of the Conor McGregor case. You want to talk to him?
Sure. Let's have David from the Bronx.
All right, David. Hello. It's good to talk to you.
Yes, hello. I actually wasn't taking issue with anything Sarah said. I was taking issue with the way you were questioning her about why she had affairs. Mr. Frank.
Hello, David. I love your accent.
Oh, thank you. I'm from Long Island originally. I don't know if I sound like it.
I can tell you're not a Bronx boy. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing. Frank and I discussed this once during Ask Frank Anything. Frank admitted in the past to having multiple affairs with married women. So I don't understand why he's questioning you about why you chose to have affairs, because clearly I think women and men have affairs for the same reason. So I'm curious what Frank would have to say to that.
Yeah, I do think it's a little bit different in terms of gender. There's maybe a patriarchy aspect of things that's a little bit different. I'm not saying it's right. I do think, when I think of my own experiences, I didn't really consider it as a lonely existence, but based on the way Sarah characterized being a mistress around the holidays, it did sound pretty lonely. So I do think there's a gender difference on that one, but you may be right. Sarah, you want to add anything?
I do, thank you. First of all, David, that's very kind of you to have such concern for me, but Frank and I are mates. We can talk about anything, so don't worry. And sometimes, I know I'm talking about the miserable side of affairs, sometimes they can be great. Sometimes they are just what you need. Sometimes they're fun and they're short-lived. So there are so many different types, like with any relationship. So the fact he's questioned me, David, I'm fine with it. But thank you for your concern. What's your situation, may I ask? You sound like somebody that might be involved.
Well, no, I'm blind, so I'm single. I think most people don't want to date people that have disabilities, but
David, I wouldn't say that. There's a dancing program here at the moment called Strictly Come Dancing. It's like you're Dancing with the Stars, and there's a blind guy on there who is the best dancer. I don't know how he's doing it, so never put yourself down.
Okay. Let me ask you this, though, since I've got you. The reason I think a lot of people, because my mom actually got involved with married men repeatedly, including my dad, but I think in a lot of cases it's because these women are looking for relationships where they don't have to put as much into them and that they know that they're not going to be permanent. Like they're just looking for a temporary situation. And I wonder if that was true with you.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
That's a good point, and it is right. But the problem is, you see, especially as women, you think that's the case, but the further you go in, the emotions start and you want more. So what started out, like you just correctly said, temporary, lightweight, bit of fun, don't want to do the guy's washing, laundry, suddenly you want more. And that's when the problem starts.
Thank you.
David, thank you. Appreciate that. Great call. All right. Sarah, I will let you enjoy the rest of your coffee and get on with your day. Thank you very, very much. It's always a delight to talk with you.
what a blaster of an interview. And quite frankly, Frank, I want to find out now how I can do these cameos.
Yeah, I think you should. I mean, I think the first thing you have to do is get elected to Congress and get a major scandal. Now, something tells me maybe one of those two things may be more difficult for you than the other.
I'll get on it right now. Another cup of coffee and I'll be away.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah.
Take care. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. If you want to comment on any portion of our discussion, you're welcome to give me a call. 646-720-0635. That's 646-720-0635. This is The Other Side of Midnight. Straight ahead.